November 24, 1971, the night before Thanksgiving, a man arrived at the Northwest Orient Airlines counter at Portland International Airport. He paid cash for a one-way ticket on Flight 305, a short 30-minute flight to Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. On the ticket, he gave the name Dan Cooper. Witnesses later described him as a white man in his mid-40s with dark hair and brown eyes, dressed neatly in a business suit with a white shirt, thin black tie, raincoat, and brown shoes. He carried a black attaché case and a brown paper bag. Cooper boarded the Boeing 727-100 and took seat 18E in the last row. Once seated, he ordered a bourbon and 7-Up from a flight attendant. The plane departed Portland on time at 2:50 p.m. with 6 crew members and 36 passengers aboard. Shortly after takeoff, Cooper handed a note to flight attendant Florence Schaffner, who was seated in the jump seat behind him. Thinking it was a phone number from a passenger, she put it in her purse without reading it. Cooper leaned toward her and quietly said, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." Schaffner read the note, written neatly in capital letters with a felt-tip pen. It said he had a bomb in his briefcase and wanted her to sit next to him. When she asked to see it, Cooper opened his attaché case. Inside were red cylindrical objects wired to a large battery, resembling sticks of dynamite. He closed the case and calmly explained his demands. Schaffner took his written demands to the cockpit and informed the crew. Captain William Scott instructed her to remain there and document everything that happened. The captain then contacted Northwest Flight Operations and relayed Cooper's demands. $200,000 in negotiable U.S. currency placed in a knapsack by 5 p.m., along with 2 front parachutes and 2 back parachutes. By asking for 4 parachutes, Cooper made it appear he might take a hostage, discouraging authorities from sabotaging the equipment. Flight attendant Tina Mucklow was assigned to sit with Cooper and relay messages. Through her, Cooper demanded that fuel trucks meet the aircraft after landing in Seattle, that passengers remain seated while the money was brought aboard, and that the parachutes be delivered last. He promised to release the passengers once he had the ransom. Air traffic control alerted local police and the FBI. Passengers were told their arrival would be delayed due to a minor mechanical issue. Northwest president authorized payment of the ransom and ordered full cooperation. For nearly 2 hours, the plane circled over Puget Sound while authorities gathered the money, parachutes, and emergency personnel. During the delay, Cooper required Mucklow to stay beside him. She later said he seemed calm, polite, and familiar with the area, pointing out Tacoma as they flew overhead and noting how close McChord Air Force Base was to the airport. He did not appear nervous or threatening. Mucklow talked with him casually. When she asked why he chose Northwest Airlines, he laughed and said it wasn't personal. The flight simply fit his needs. He asked about her background and commented pleasantly about Minnesota when she mentioned living there, but became irritated when she asked where he was from. He offered her a cigarette, which she accepted, though she no longer smoked. At one point, a passenger wearing a cowboy hat interacted briefly near Cooper's seat. Accounts differed, but Cooper appeared momentarily annoyed and expressed concern afterward, asking Mucklow if the man was a sky marshal. She assured him there were none on board. Meanwhile, the FBI obtained the ransom, 10,000 unmarked $20 bills weighing about 19 pounds, most issued by the San Francisco Federal Reserve. 2 reserve parachutes came from a skydiving school, and 2 main parachutes from a local stunt pilot. At around 5:24 p.m., the crew was told the equipment had arrived. The plane landed at SeaTac at 5:46 p.m. and was parked away from the terminal. Cooper insisted only one airline representative approach the aircraft and that boarding take place through the front door. Northwest Operations Manager Al Lee delivered the ransom and parachutes, changing into civilian clothes to avoid confusion. Mucklow carried the money down the aisle to Cooper, passing the seated passengers. After inspecting the cash, Cooper agreed to release everyone. As they disembarked, Mucklow jokingly asked for some of the money. Cooper offered it, but she returned it, explaining company policy prohibited tips. Once the passengers were gone, only Cooper and the 6 crew members remained. Mucklow made multiple trips to bring the parachutes aboard. Cooper allowed Schaffner to retrieve her purse and told her he wouldn't bite. When another attendant asked if they could leave, he agreed, and they exited the aircraft. Cooper declined instructions on how to use the parachutes. Refueling took longer than expected due to equipment problems. During the delay, Cooper complained that the money was delivered in a cloth bag instead of a knapsack. Using a pocket knife, he cut fabric from one parachute and repacked some of the money into the empty parachute bag. An FAA official requested to speak with him face-to-face, but Cooper refused. Growing impatient, he pushed the crew to prepare for departure. He instructed them to fly southeast toward Mexico City at low speed and altitude, with the landing gear down, flaps partially lowered, and the cabin unpressurized. The crew explained the aircraft could not reach Mexico without another refueling stop. After discussion, Reno was selected. Cooper also demanded takeoff with the rear stair open. Although the airline objected for safety reasons, Cooper said it could be done and later stated he would lower the stair himself after takeoff. He required Mucklow to remain on board to assist. Around 7:40 p.m., Flight 305 took off again, carrying only Cooper, Flight Attendant Tina Mucklow, Captain William Scott, First Officer Bill Radizak, and Flight Engineer Harold Anderson. Two F-106 fighter jets from McCord Air Force Base and a Lockheed T-33 trainer aircraft followed the Boeing 727. To avoid being seen by Cooper, the military jets flew in shaped patterns behind the slower airliner. Soon after takeoff, Cooper told Mucklow to lower the rear air stair. She told him she was afraid of being pulled out of the plane. The crew suggested she go to the cockpit and get an emergency rope to tie herself to a seat. But Cooper refused, saying he did not want her going forward or the crew coming back into the cabin. Mucklow continued to express fear and asked Cooper to cut cord from one of the parachutes to make a safety line. Cooper ignored the request, said he would handle the air stair himself, and ordered her to go to the cockpit, close the curtain between the cabin sections, and not return. Before leaving, Mucklow pleaded with him to take the bomb with him. Cooper replied that he would either disarm it or take it along. As she walked toward the cockpit and closed the curtain, she saw Cooper standing in the aisle, apparently tying the money bag around his waist. About 4 to 5 minutes had passed since takeoff. Mucklow stayed in the cockpit for the rest of the flight and was the last person to see Cooper. At around 8 p.m., a warning light in the cockpit indicated the aft air stair had been lowered. The pilots asked Cooper over the intercom if he needed help, but he did not respond. The crew felt pressure changes as the rear door opened. At approximately 8:13 p.m., the aircraft suddenly pitched upward, forcing the pilots to correct and stabilize the plane. Radizak later said this happened near the northern suburbs of Portland. With the rear door open and the air stair deployed, the crew stayed in the cockpit, unsure whether Cooper was still on board. As the plane approached Reno, Mucklow used the intercom to tell Cooper they were preparing to land and that the air stair needed to be raised. She repeated the message several times during final approach, but there was no response. At 11:02 p.m., Flight 305 landed at Reno Tahoe International Airport with the air stair still down. Law enforcement surrounded the aircraft but did not approach immediately, fearing Cooper and the bomb might still be inside. Captain Scott searched the cabin and confirmed Cooper was gone. After a thorough inspection, an FBI bomb squad declared the aircraft safe.